On this episode of Cuesta Dos, my brother David and I talk about the recent NFL trades that have went on, the Ezekiel Elliott saga as it continues, NFL players and if their sexual orientations should matter, Jeremy Lin playing in China, Carmelo Anthony possibly going to the Nets, a little U.S. Open tennis and tennis talk in general, Antonio Brown makes the show again, and O-lineman Brock Hoffman playing in college football and his denial of immediate eligibility to Virginia Tech. And without further ado, intro time.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one.
What's going on, sports fans? Welcome to Cuesta Dos. I'm Alex Cuesta, my brother David Cuesta, here back for another week of talking about the hot sports topics and giving you our opinions on them. What's up, Dave?
What's up, everyone? It's good to be here again.
Yeah. Now, I need to do a public service announcement. I'm pissed because I went and played golf this morning, and my driver broke, and it shouldn't have broken, so I'm angry about that. So if I sound angry on the podcast, I apologize. I'm probably going to be grumpy. Not going to lie. So we're going to jump right into things. Not going to waste much time here. We're going to start off talking some NFL. And over the yesterday, really, it's Sunday, the 1st of September. In the last 2 days, we've seen a flurry of trades.
Yeah.
And they've been some big names moving. It's not small trades. It is big names. We're going to start off. I'll run down the three biggest trades, and we'll tell you how we feel about them. First, Jadeveon Clowney was rumored to have being moved for the last few weeks.
Yes.
Finally happened. He was linked to our Jets. He was linked to Miami. He was linked to Seattle, and Seattle's the team that ended up pulling the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Clowney is going to Seattle. I forget what exactly for. I don't think it was too much of a cost, but Clowney's going there. The next trade is the trade that I think is going to benefit both teams, and it's a great trade. Miami ended up trading Laramie Tunsil, who's one of the greatest young linemen in the league.
Yes.
And Kenny Stills over to the Texans, and the Texans weren't done. They traded with the Chiefs to get Carlos Hyde over to the Texans. I think the Texans are doing some good stuff right now. They're giving Watkins, not Watkins. Yeah.
Deshaun Watkins, yes.
Wow, where am I going? Giving Deshaun Watkins some weapons there and some protection. How do you feel about the trades, Dave?
I mean, for the most part, I think they kind of work out for both teams for all the trades. Like Miami, is obviously not going to win anything anytime soon. They named Fitz their starter, so they know what they're at. They know what they're about right now. They just kind of want to get the picks.
Quick aside: is Josh Rosen's career over? Is that it?
No.
You lose to Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry.
No. We all don't act like we all don't know how this works. Fitzpatrick comes out, shows out like he's the best QB in the league. He's going to get a deal from somewhere. Then he's going to be awful. That's what's going to happen.
They're going to win the AFC East. He's going to get a 3-year, $42 million deal, and then they're going to go 1-15 with him.
Yeah. No, that's what's going to happen. That's how it works. So you can't base Josh Rosen's career off that. No, but anyway, Miami knows where it's at right now, so that's good for them. I mean, Tunsil was supposed to be untouchable.
But they got 2 first-round picks and a second-rounder. So
it was a huge amount, but it's kind of weird. But I mean, we've seen this happen before with OBJ and everything like that, where you say something and then the deal's too sweet for them to pass up. But I think the biggest thing here is that the Texans are signaling to the rest of the league right now that they think they have not only a legit chance, they believe that they should be in the Super Bowl winning it. Because these are the moves you make if you're going to – these are simply the moves you make if you're going to do this.
Now, really quick, do you think that Luck retiring made them accelerate it? And
100%.
Make these deals
I mean, they already believed they could probably win the AFC South. But after Luck retired, they said, okay, our biggest rival right now are the Titans because we don't know how fully Foles is going to be implemented in the Jags. So biggest rival is the Titans. We know we can do it. We're taking the AFC South, and we're gonna run through the playoffs. That's their signal right now. That's exactly what they're giving off to everyone.
Now, it's interesting because earlier this year, they picked up Duke Johnson Jr., and we all thought that Duke was finally going to get the chance to be a starter And now Carlos Hyde comes in, and you're looking at it, and the NFL now with the running backs is stables. Unless you have certain guys, it's very stable heavy.
Yes.
Carlos Hyde is not able to carry a team anymore on his own, but with him and Duke 1 and 2, that's as good of a running back stable as you're going to find in the NFL.
It's a very fast running back stable. A lot of catching out of backfield, which is exactly what is the NFL right now. It's literally it's a PPR league, except it's not fantasy. So I think it'll work out for them a lot, especially. I mean, now you have Tunzel, so now you have Deshaun getting a little more help, getting a little more protection. But yeah, but having backs being able to come out of backfield for just the look, if he's ever in trouble, is always great, and those two are good at it. So those are just big pickups for the Texans in general. And Clowney, I guess he just wasn't a good locker room presence for them. I mean, they already have J.J. Watt. They're getting Mingo from Seattle. I mean, Mingo's not great. Barkevius is great. Yeah, but he's still something. So I mean, they're showing what they're made of right now, and I think they fully believe what they can do in this season.
Now, Clowney moves, and he was really the big name, the big talk in terms of trades. And one thing about Clowney is he ended up in a great place. The Seahawks have a coach that is, very player friendly.
Yes.
But he also gets the most out of a lot of his guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring him there. And for me, he ended up in one of 3 places that he would have been successful. I always, give ribs to Colton Gesser, who's the host of the Personal Foul podcast, about, the Steelers. But they are one hell of an organization with a coach that gets the most out of his guys. That would have been one place Clowney could have ended up and be
especially their pass rushers.
Especially their pass rushers.
T.J. Watt came in, he was a monster.
And obviously the Patriots. If you would have went to the Patriots, that's a place where they take reclamation projects and turn them into great players. Now, you bring him over to Seattle, it's a very different style than both of those teams, but Pete Carroll has shown that he gets the most out of his guys. And they're not afraid of reclamation projects either. Sheldon Richardson ended up there. So it's like Clowney's in a good position to make his career go the way it always should have been. He takes plays off, and that's his biggest knock, is he's an unbelievable talent, but you can physically see he takes plays off. If they can get more out of him, if they can get him to stop taking plays off and maybe take only 1 or 2 here and there instead of 1 every set of downs, then I think you can sit there and have one of the better sack artists in the game.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, there's a great pickup for Seattle because they needed this. They really needed this big. Frank Clark's gone, so they needed their pass rusher. And I don't know. Seattle may be a better team than what we're all thinking of for next year. That team could still be very good. They might be a surprise team.
They're definitely – I think they're going to be better than most people think they're going to be. Without a doubt, I think they're going to be a good football team. For once, I'm actually fairly high on Seattle. Since, I haven't been high since Russell Wilson's been there. Even when they were great, I always doubted them. I'm not going to lie. This is the first time since the Russell Wilson era that I am actually fairly high on Seattle, which means they're probably going to go 5-11. Because whenever if I pick anything, everybody go against it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty high on them. I think it could work out. Now, we have another situation, David, that should have been worked out by this weekend, apparently. What do we got going on?
Well, the Zeke saga and Dallas and the Big D is still going on. Adam Schefter came out and said, I'm pretty sure Schefter that tweeted this, but the deal was supposed to get done this weekend. It seems like it. It seems like it's going towards that. But you also have Jerry Jones saying that he may miss regular season games and these other things. They're operating as though he's going to miss regular season games. So it's contradicting things coming out of people's mouths. I don't understand entirely what's happening. Honestly, I hope they get the deal done because, the NFL is better with one of its superstars in it, but it's weird. It's really, really weird to hear all this noise going on.
Yeah, and it seems like they're on 2 different pages. I don't know if this is by design. I don't know what's going on, but like you said, Jerry's coming out. He's been quoted as saying that operating as though right now he's going to miss regular season games and we're in it for a marathon here.
Yep.
But then you have Stephen Jones a week and a half ago saying we're going to try and get this done before the regular season starts. And then Shefty reporting that the goal is by this weekend. Both camps are ramping it up to get it done this weekend.
Yes. And
basically to get Zeke a week of practice before he jumps in. He was working with Marshall Faulk last week, it was reported. So he's possibly in good shape already, but it's just bizarre what's going on right now. And one thing is I've noticed is you hear very little from the Zeke camp. Besides some reactionary stuff, they're not letting out anything, which I think is also by design, that the Cowboys are the only ones really talking. I hope it gets done this week, for not only for the league, but also for fantasy purposes. Because a lot of people are busy, and you see Zeke falling from a top 5 pick to someone you can get in like the 16th pick, 12th pick, which doesn't happen unless there's something like this going on. So what is your gut feeling? Does it get done before the regular season, or is Zeke going to miss some games?
I think it's going to get done. We often have, at least in recent years, as I can remember, we often have all these holdouts over extensions and everything like that. But I feel like it's always one person that usually doesn't get it done. I think that's Melvin Gordon. I think Zeke is going to get it done. Melvin Gordon isn't going to get it done.
Can seek a trade now, apparently.
Yeah, now he can seek a trade. I think that's the one that's not going to get it done. And that's unfortunate, very unfortunate for the Chargers and Phillip Rivers. But I think Zeke's going to be able to get it done, and Melvin Gordon is going to be either off the Chargers for a year or off the Chargers to another team.
Now, I think, aside on the Chargers, I think they believe in Eckler, and they think that he could take the next step, because he was the backup, and he showed off pretty well and played very well while Gordon's been hurt.
He's good, but he's no Melvin Gordon.
It's kind of similar to the Steelers, where Connor is very good, but he wasn't Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. And I think certain guys, I don't know if Gordon is going to come to the table more, because I think guys are kind of learning the lesson, because Bell ended up getting less than what the Steelers originally offered him to play with the Jets.
Yes.
So I don't know if a lesson's been learned here, but I think the Cowboys will get it done. I think it's going to get done soon. And I think he's going to settle with being the number 2 paid running back in the league, not the number 1. Because I think Zeke wants to play as well.
Yeah, so. No doubt. He definitely – that's got to be hard for players to not play. I mean, not only is it a sport you love, but it's also you're making a lot of money off of it. So it is your career. You're going to want to play in order to play to love it a game and to make your money.
Yeah. And I don't think everyone understands it's a business. Everyone, that plays, that front office, all the players in the locker room, no one holds grudges anymore, especially with all the money getting thrown around, because it is a business. And the distraction thing, I think, is well overblown. I think when, they're talking about, it's a distraction for the team, it's only a distraction for the media. The team just goes and does its thing. The next man up motto is in every single locker room, and no one's looking around, especially if you're a pro, and going, we're missing that guy. Because every pro thinks they're the best person on the field. So with that mentality, I think they're going to be fine. And this transitions well into our next topic. Mm-hmm. Because I forget the player. It was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer that I think he's officially coming out as a gay athlete. And it became announced that, his mission right now is to be able to live life openly and be able to make it okay with players living life openly and being who they are. And I think that's great. I think that's the way it should be. We saw a few years ago Michael Sam coming out of Missouri, a high draft pick, defensive end. And he was the first openly gay athlete to play in both the NFL, and he also had a stint with the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL before retiring. And to me, it's a non-factor what your orientation is. As long as you can play the game. Now, don't get me wrong. Is there going to be some homophobes? Absolutely. I think it's every walk of life you're going to get them. But I think more often than not, you're going to get people that if you could do the job regardless of your sexual orientation, they're going to stand next to you and they're going to give you the high fives. And, they're going to give you the smacks on the ass that you get in any sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't mind what he did in wanting to come out. And I think it helps push the whole entire motivation to make this more normal, because it is a normal thing that people have their own orientations, and that's just that. But I don't think it's as important in terms of in the locker room as we make it out to be. I think guys in the locker room are just going to take it in stride.
Yeah, I agree basically with everything that you said. I don't think the guys in the locker room, most of the guys at least, aren't going to care. Mainly because if you're good, you're good. No one, as long as you're helping them win damn games and try to get to that Super Bowl, they're not going to care. You have one goal in mind. That's the whole point. I think the one thing is the person that it helps the most is the person that does come out, and that's a good thing because that's the whole point of it, is that it's helping you. You're comfortable now. It's not like you're living with not telling anyone anything. But I generally I just think like for me entirely, like, it doesn't matter. I don't want it to come out like it's a bad thing me saying that, but it doesn't entirely matter because it's normal. That's the thing. Like, it'd be like someone coming out and saying, like, to me, there'd be like someone coming out and saying, like, oh, I'm straight. Like, it's just a normal thing. But it's a good thing when it can legitimately help the person to come out and say, you know, I'm gay or I'm bisexual or whatever, however they're feeling.
Yeah, and you know, and everyone, especially those who have those orientations, they're scared of the bigot.
Yes.
They're scared of being looked upon, and that bigot kind of rallying other people to their cause.
Yes.
What I think what they need to realize is, number one, that bigot is scared and ignorant. They're scared of change. They're scared of something they don't understand, and they're extremely ignorant. And I think sometimes when guys do, because it does take courage, guys, women as well,
yes,
when they come out, I think it might sometimes help that bigot, because sometimes they're coming from a walk of life where they were so sheltered and they only knew one thing. So they're scared and they're ignorant of it. And then when they sit there and they finally do play with that homosexual player, and what a surprise, it's no different than playing with a straight player.
Well, yeah, and they could have been playing with them before they even came out, and then they come out, and it's just like, what the heck's the difference? Like, there's no difference. It's literally the same guy. He just has a different sexuality. That's it. It's the same person.
An example of that is Jason Collins in the NBA.
Yeah.
He came out towards the end of his career, but you know what? You don't just start being gay. It's not like something that just splits and you decide that day you want to be gay. It's something that's, you know, you're gay or you're not. And Jason Collins was a player and a good big man. He wasn't a superstar, but he was a starter and a role player.
He was good enough to be on the floor, get minutes.
Exactly, on every single team. He was a legitimate pro, and guys had no idea. And if they did, they didn't care. They just played. The guy could play. And even after he came out, no one was nervous about, this isn't the ignorance of when Magic had his thing and everyone thought they were going to get it. Everyone knows that being gay is not a disease. It's not an issue. Yeah. It is someone's sexual preference, and that doesn't change whether or not they're a fantastic athlete or not.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So transitioning into basketball, David,
since you're talking about Jason Collins. Well, unfortunately, the yesteryear stars for Knicks fans are not on the Knicks anymore, and some are having hard times. Hard times basketball-wise, I should say. Not entirely hard times, but Jeremy Lin is now going off and playing in China after becoming an NBA champion with the Raptors. I'm very happy he got the championship. Lin's sanity was a great thing. It was a lot of fun, and Jeremy Lin I think he's a good player, but unfortunately, NBA rosters didn't want him, so now he's off to play in China, which I'm sure he'll show out in. And Melo, there's a lot of murmurs about possibly going to the Nets. KD and Kyrie want Sean Marks to pick up Melo. And I also heard that apparently Sean Marks and Kenny Atkinson went to go watch Melo work out. I guess probably to see if he would fit on the team at all. I mean, it's weird to me because I'm a Nets fan, but like watching these players when Melo played on Nuggets and the Knicks, and I mean Lin coming out on the Knicks and being a superstar while Melo was gone, it was a lot of fun, and it hurts a little bit to watch these guys down on the luck NBA wise.
And, Jeremy Lin and Melo, one thing about Lin is I don't think this is going to affect him mentally, because Lin went from sleeping on a friend's couch when he first got the deal with the Knicks, to, Lin's sanity, and then, finally being able to live comfortably and do what everyone dreams of, taking care of their family and things like that. So I think for Lin, he had his time. He loves the game, and he still gets to go and make money and make a living. He's probably disappointed he's not back in the NBA, but I can't see a guy that came from where he came from being, letting this take him down completely. He was too strong of a willed guy to let this hurt him. Mm-hmm. In terms of Melo, and in terms of both of them, it has to hurt seeing Dwight Howard, who's not a bad player at all, but it has to hurt seeing Dwight Howard getting a deal in LA while they're both sitting here. Lin's got to play in China. Melo's still not signed, going, I'm sorry, I think we both can play at Dwight Howard's level. And Melo going to the Nets, I've been calling for this for a little bit now, not only to jab at Knicks fans because it's just fun to do, but I really think Melo could work as long as he is willing to understand the role that he will be in. He's not a starter anymore. No. He needs to come off the bench, and putting him on a bench with a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie can elevate Melo's game back to being a very good scorer on the floor.
Yes. And I genuinely believe Melo at this point knows I'm going to have to come off the bench. I don't think he has that huge of an ego to think that he's a starter when he hasn't been signed. I think he knows he's going to have to come off the bench. And I genuinely believe he'll be just fine in that system. I know people have said on Twitter and stuff like that he just won't work in the system. I think he'll be just fine, especially coming off the bench with Spencer. I mean, listen, I know we pass a lot. I know we love to find the open three, to find the open shot, but there's a lot of times where we break down the ISO ball. Karras goes into ISO ball. Dinwiddie goes into ISO ball consistently when we need points. Melo is one of the better ISO ball players we've seen in the game in recent history. So I think it'd be great for us.
And just think, you want to go and figure out small lineups are a big thing now. Imagine a small lineup of Kyrie, Caris LeVert, Joe Harris, Spencer on the floor, and then Melo just playing basically a big and out. Because Melo can rebound. Melo played the four every once in a while. Melo is a big body. I recall there was an interview where LeBron said, "Who do you hate guarding you the most?" And he said, Carmelo Anthony. I can't stand it when he guards me because he's a bull, because I try to back him down and it's impossible because he's so strong. And just, imagine, people might laugh when they think of that lineup, but all the shooting, all the breakdown, and we'd have a basically five in Melo, a small five, who can shoot the three. That would be a lethal small lineup. And then even if you put him at the four and take maybe Joe Harris off the floor and bring Jared Allen back on, it could work. Melo could work. I believe in Kenny Atkinson enough as a coach, as a strategist, and as a guy that everyone respects, that they will try to do what he's asking them to do.
No doubt. And I like you said, I completely believe in Kenny Atkinson, and I completely believe in Sean Marks. I mean, the guy's not going to pick Melo up if he doesn't think Kenny can't do anything with him. I completely have faith in this organization right now, and if they pick up Melo, that means we believe he can come off the bench and get us good points in order to help us win more and more games.
And the one thing about Kenny that made me believe in him, he has no fear of benching anybody. How often we see at the beginning of the year, D'Angelo Russell, the star of the team, sit in the fourth quarter to watch Spencer Dinwiddie, and this is even when Karras was hurt, to watch Spencer Dinwiddie and Joe Harris out there.
Yep.
And what did D'Angelo Russell do? He didn't pout. He showed his maturity, and he stood up and he was cheering and he was involved, and he did, and he would even say, and I think he'll say it today, Kenny Atkinson has helped make him the player he is and helped him mature into the man he is. And I think Melo could use some of that tough love, and not in the negative sense, because I like D'Antoni. I think D'Antoni's a good coach, but I also think he's a very old school and could be a negative guy at times, where if you're not performing, it's kind of a get your ass on that bench and sit at the end, where Kenny will look at you and say, man, that's not our game plan. Sit on the bench and figure it out for a minute, and if I need you, you're back. I think it's subtle differences there, where when Kenny benches you as opposed to other old school coaches, it's different in terms of how they do it.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that.
All right, and so we're going to transition completely out of NBA. We're going to talk U.S. Open's going on right now, U.S. Open tennis. And that's one of the majors in tennis, a great event on the hard floor and the hard court, not the floor. They don't play on a floor. They play on a court. Yes. But on the hard court. But here's a major problem. Their superstars of yesteryear are in the men's top 3 spots. And on the women's side, it's Serena, and there's some women that are coming up, but it's not – there's no real names. Coco Gauff is a great story for the United States. She got swept by the world number 1.
That's to be expected.
6-3, 6-0.
That's to be expected.
But the thing is, if you're not a big fan, and I think ESPN actually does a good job with tennis in terms of trying to highlight some better players. Naomi Osaka is known. Kvitova is known. There's some players that are known because of it, but it's not back in the day where you knew maybe 5-6 deep on both sides and knew exactly who they were and were excited to see them play. I don't see the same amount of excitement for tennis that I saw maybe 5 years to a decade ago. I think they need more stars. They need to start marketing better. How about you?
Yeah, no, it's really weird. I mean, it's not – I don't even think it's – maybe it's some of the marketing, but I mean, in the men's side at least, you still see Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic usually in the finals. Like, it's apparently the talent isn't there. At least it doesn't seem as much as it used to be, like where you would knock people off. Like Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer just seem to be the biggest guys consistently. And I mean, you're saying, like, I know you brought up Serena, and yes, she's still number one. That's somewhat of a problem because you need new superstars. But I also just believe that Serena's up there because it's Serena. I mean, Sharapova, you know the name, but she doesn't matter as much anymore on the women's tennis side.
All right, so we'll go down the top 10 of men and women real quick because I want to see how many names. And you played tennis in high school. Me and you both like tennis. Our dad taught us how to play.
Yes.
Me and you both have watched tennis not only when the superstars are on, just because we enjoy the sport.
Yes.
So women's side, let's start. Naomi Osaka is known. ESPN does a good job of highlighting her.
Yes.
Ashley Barty, I don't know that name really. Carolina Pliskova, kind of. Simona Halep, I've heard of, number 4.
I know Simona Halep, yes.
Alina Svitolina, number 5. I've heard her name, but not really too much. Petra Kvitova, I know Petra Kvitova.
Yes.
7 is Kiki Bertens. I've heard. 8, Serena. 9 is Madison Keys, an American, which I really didn't know much of.
I know of Madison Keys.
And 10 is Sloane Stephens, who we all know.
Yes.
She's supposed to be the next Williams
Yes.
sister.
I mean, she's still all right. Sloane is doing okay. I mean, she's 10 right now, obviously, but she's still all right. I mean, you got to get back up there.
What does she have? 1 Grand Slam?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you just got to get back up there.
Yeah, and and even when you go down, the next name that I recognize on this list is Caroline Wozniacki at 19. And it's, and that's, to me, that's a problem. And then when you go to the men's side, obviously Djokovic is 1, Nadal's 2, Federer's 3. Everyone knows them.
And that's the biggest problem right there, is that there's still 1, 2, 3.
And
like, they don't just interchange. Like, I'm pretty sure it's been like 10. I think Andy Murray's the only one that's changed that at all.
And Andy Murray's not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
You look at it, it's Dominic Thiem is 4. Daniel Medvedev is 5. 6 is Alexander Zverev. 7 is Kai Nishikori. 8 is Stefanos Tsitsipas. That's the first name I actually know out of that group. 9 is Karen Khachanov. And 10 is Roberto Bautista Agut. And to me, that sounds more like a hockey lineup than it does a top 10 of world tennis. And it's because they're just not there. The next name that I really know is Gael Monfils. Gael Monfils is still playing in the top 15.
What?
He's 13 in the world. John Isner's number 14.
Wait, how old is that man?
Well, Del Potro and Monfils both had to be close to 40.
Oh, yeah, that guy there is so old, man.
It's insane.
Wow. I had no idea. I didn't even know Monfils is still playing, honestly. I'm not going to lie to you.
You have Marin Cilic sitting at 23, Stan Wawrinka sitting at 24. These are guys that should be past their prime. And then you have a 24-year-old and Nick Kyrgios at 30. And it's like he's all the talent in the world.
That's a problem.
He has the temper of John McEnroe without the results.
Yeah, no, but he should get better by controlling his. It should be getting better. He's only 24. He doesn't, but he's only 24. He should be getting better. Someone has to get to him because he could be extremely good. He could be winning a lot. But so I'm very much hoping that someone gets to him and tells him, like, listen, man, you need to not be absolutely insane. just tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. And, and the thing is, the women have definitely done a better job of bringing up the big names.
100%. They have.
And, there is some more youth there. Osaka's only 21. Barty's 23. Svitolina's 24. Your oldest is in the top 10 is Williams at 37, but she's just a freak in terms of an athlete, one of the best athletes in the history of sports.
Yes.
Can I bring up a second issue, though, with women's tennis? Again, I have a big problem with a lot of women's sports, not because the women play in it, because I feel like they don't allow women to be athletes. Why are women's Grand Slams only best out of 3 sets and not best out of 5?
I don't know. I really don't. They could do to 5.
In just the regular tournaments, the off tournaments, fine. If you want to make a best out of 3, there's even men's tournaments that are best out of 3. Cool. But why is it that the WTA decides that the women can't play up to the men's standards and play a best of 5 sets? I feel like we would see some amazing tennis if we really test these women's endurance as well. I think it would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea why they do that. Well, maybe I do have an idea. I feel like it should be. I mean, tennis is tennis. Like, you can play it for a long time if you're a pro. Not even if you're a pro. Like, if you're just playing tennis, you could play to 5 sets. you know you can get through it. And you know, 5 sets is much more of a battle than 3 sets. You have a lot more juice for comeback in 5 sets because you're always thinking, I can come back and I can make this happen. 3 sets, it gets a little iffy because only after 1 set you're like, man. 5 sets, you're just ready. You're ready for a marathon.
And, a major issue, and this might get people pissed off at me, the major sexism for women's sports is the people running it. Women's sports. They are the most sexist ones. Because they do certain things and make certain rules where it just doesn't allow women to be athletes. And that's just, that always annoys me. It annoys me when it comes to like high school lacrosse and field hockey.
Oh, yeah, I know your feelings on
they piss me off there. And the fact that why do women constantly have to wear skirts? Why can't they just wear, leggings or pants or shorts? Why do we constantly have to put them in skirts and stuff? For me, yeah, some women prefer it because it's free flowing, and if that's what their preference is, awesome. But to make it a requirement, that's annoying. I'm sorry. That type of stuff. Let women be athletes. Don't try and control them. Just let them do. Don't change the rules at all from the men's sports. Just let it be. Maybe make certain things a little bit smaller. Maybe account for the differences in strength. That's different. But in terms of the rules, the fact that some sports are completely changed pisses me off. Pisses me off, Dave.
Listen, I understand it. I do. I completely understand it.
I'm already angry about my driver head, and then that just happened, and boom. So let's, we cannot go a single show so far. We are at 5.
We have the time for it.
And our mascot is officially in the show. Dave,
yes.
Bring him in.
Who's quickly becoming my favorite player because the large amounts of content he can give us. It's Antonio Brown. Who cannot? You know what? At some point, I'm thinking he's just doing this. He's doing this for fun. Like he's not insane. He's just doing it for fun.
He's just doing it to mess around. On his calendar, like, all right, something stupid today.
I'm starting to think he's like a mad genius about this. But I can't entirely remember what Big Ben said or what Big Ben tweeted. I can't remember it.
He was saying something like, I felt bad. Like I think.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have blown up on him.
Yeah, I shouldn't have blown up on him. Like he was friends with him. And the AB tweets to that saying, "We were never friends. Shut up already."
I was just getting mine.
Yeah, I was just getting. Yeah, just shut up. Oh my God! And of course, people went off on AB. I remember I saw. I think it was Will Brinson. I might be remembering the name wrong. He's verified on Twitter. He replied to AB with multiple posts from AB, basically showing that it seemed like he thought Big Ben and him were friends. But the amount of publicity AB can get off of just telling Big Ben to shut up is absolutely amazing. And like I said, at this point, it's either he's completely insane or he's doing this for fun. I like to think he's doing this for fun. It's great. I mean, it makes it like a fun rivalry, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional, if it's crazy. I hope it's intentional. One thing that I notice when stuff like this goes on with certain players, when they start acting this nuts this often, they tend to slip up. Ocho Cinco, T.O., usually they don't recover and they don't have those great unbelievable seasons. AB better have 120 catches this year. With the way he's acting, like he needs to have 120 catches this year. Like it can't be any other way, or otherwise he is going to get ran out of Oakland.
Oh yeah, I mean I still think he's going to have a good season, but I mean just think about it. Me and you both have watched WWE. I feel like he is the greatest heel right now in the NFL. He is. It's entertainment. It's great entertainment. It really is. I mean, people might be sick of him, especially Steelers fans, but you're still going to go. You're still going to look at that tweet, and you're still going to respond to something to him. He's giving you the entertainment. He's great heel.
And, and I mention it all the time. Whenever we talk about AB, I have to bring up Odell Beckham, and people just need to shut up about Odell right now because Odell is doing nothing wrong. You know what we see from Odell? We see him doing his crazy, awesome one-handed catches in camp. That's it.
Yeah, he's being a model citizen compared to AB.
So anyone that sits there and we talk about Antonio Brown, if you bring up Odell Beckham, you should have your mouth slapped. He's doing nothing wrong. So Antonio, you made the show again. I'm proud of you. We'll talk about you again next week.
I hope so.
Last topic. It's good. I'm already angry, so this will play off well. I found out, I saw on Instagram there was a clip from SVP is one big thing, And he's always interesting. I loved SVP and Russillo when it was on ESPN radio.
Yeah.
And so it was good, and then Russillo left. And SVP is still a super talented guy. So
Yes.
I like him. He's great at SportsCenter at night. That's one of the shots that they took that ended up being amazing. He talked about Brock Hoffman. He was an offensive lineman that played for Coastal Carolina and transferred to Virginia Tech. And he didn't transfer because Coastal Carolina wasn't good. He didn't transfer because Virginia Tech was better and he wanted to go play on a big-time school. He transferred because his mother was sick. I think she had like a tumor or something removed. And she had no way of getting to her doctor's appointments and stuff. Being at Virginia Tech puts him closer by like 40 minutes. And all he wanted to do was be able to take his mother to her doctor appointments, take care of her, help her out, do all that while being a student, which from SVP's, apparently he's a pretty good student.
Yes.
And being a starting lineman. And the NCAA decided, no, that's not a good enough reason. You can't play immediately. You could transfer all you want, but you are not up for immediate eligibility. And apparently there were two other players within the same time frame that didn't have the same exact circumstances at all. They were big-time players from big-time position players, skill positions, and they're allowed to play immediately. The NCAA makes no friends by their own choice. I hate them. I hate the NCAA. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's funny because they're another great heel.
The best.
I mean, we all knew how bad the NCAA was with their players in the first place. I mean, like that whole video that got torn to shreds about being a student athlete. What was it? I think it was Kyle Guy in Virginia that wasn't allowed to get gifts for from his wedding registry. Like it's all ridiculous nonsense. And I mean, like this as well. Like the man is just trying to take care of his mother and still do the thing he wants to do in college, and you're going to tell him no. It's like even if you have like the rule about it, you should take some context into consideration here. And you should allow this.
And they're all unique situations, so you need to handle them. There needs to be no one set rule about who could play immediately, who can't. But apparently some of the reasons why they got denied, get this, ready? Here are some of the reasons I heard, SVP talked about it. She's getting better, so he shouldn't have to be there all the time. And she went back to work. Now, the reason why she went back to work, Brock Hoffman said, is they can't afford the medical bills. And she needs to continue to get her insurance to help afford it, and they can't afford it, so she needs to go back to work. And that's why. So she's an average blue-collar American that needs to go back to work, and not these overpaid NCAA officials that are probably making $250,000 a year and don't give a damn. And you're going to tell him he can't immediately play so he can go take care of his mother. I hope the media pressure tears them down, and I hope we find out who made that decision, and they are immediately fired along with that team that helped research it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. I mean, the NCAA, I mean, they're a monopoly. That's what they are. They can do what they want. So that's part of the reason why this kind of stuff happens, because the NCAA, there's no competition for it. It can do whatever it wants. So this is how it's going to play out, and unfortunately it's not going to stop until something happens. Something's going to happen. The bubble is going to burst soon. Everyone dislikes. Well, not everyone. I'm not going to put everyone.
Unless you work for it and you're making good money off the exploitation of athletes.
Some people are going to like the NCAA, but a large amount of people dislike the NCAA. At least it seems like it. So there's a bubble is going to burst at one point for them. Something's going to happen, and we'll see what comes out of it. Hopefully something better comes out of it. You never know. Something worse could come out of it. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe they can get better. Maybe something happens where they can get better, but I don't see it happening.
No, neither do I. Their main competition is the NAIA, and the NAIA is so small that I don't know if they ever have a chance of replacing it, but it's terrible. And I mean, something needs to change, or otherwise we're going to continue to see a lot of these stories and a lot of power given to these terrible, terrible people running it.
Yeah.
But all right, David, with that, the angry episode of Cuesta Dos is over.
It was a fun time.
It was a fun time.
Yeah, I like it when you're mad. It's a lot more fun to poke at you and just get you to rant more.
Oh, I can't stand you. But all right. Anyway, again, I am Alex Cuesta. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at @A_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30. Instagram SportsOpinions30. David is at Twitter at DCuesta308 because he doesn't even know his own Twitter handle and he's a problem.
No, of course I don't.
Why
would I?
I think Instagram, you're Cuesta Cola. So,
you don't ask me. I don't know.
You can go try and look him up. But anyway, listen to this podcast, other podcasts. We have more coming out. The Playbook with Joe and Rob just came out. Personal Foul Podcast is under the umbrella. Another one is coming out soon, so be ready for that. But that's the end of Cuesta Dose, episode number 5. Everybody, thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Sports Opinions.